Good morning. I'm Mary Al Titus, member of the DOERS class and one of the teachers that takes my turn in that class. And my lesson this morning is the epilogue from a series of lessons we've been studying in DOERS. And the lesson is all about making every day count. So I want to begin by asking you all a personal question. Are you making every day count for something? Are you really living life to the full? Are you celebrating life? Do you see each day as a special gift from God? Exhilarating, exciting, packed with fresh new possibilities, with unique opportunities? Or is life simply passing you by? How will people remember you at the end of the day, or the year, or your life? It's so sad that it's a well-documented fact that many people today are indeed unhappy, unfulfilled in the present moment. And I think we're all tired of sheltering in place with this virus pandemic going on. But people are so caught up in looking to another day, hoping for the future when we're all free to come and go as we want, that they miss the joy and meaning of today. To some people, well, the good old days are way back there in the past. And to some people, the good days are off in the future when the pandemic is over and we're free to come and go as we want to again. And some of us long for those better days that will come sometime in the future. And other people are just harried and frustrated and depleted by the pressure-packed busyness of hectic modern-day living, which is exacerbated again by our virus pandemic. But all of these people are really missing life. They're not really living. They're just simply coping, surviving, trying to hang in there. But they're not really celebrating life. So let's be honest now. How is it with you? Are you really living, or is life simply passing you by? There was an editorial about this that I think is worth sharing a little bit. The editorial was entitled, "A Gift from God. Let life surround you each day." And here's a part of that editorial, and I quote, "Some people call it the glooms. For the older generation, it's called the blues. And young people have still another name for it. They call it that depressed, out of sorts feeling that sometimes comes without warning and often maybe without even real reason. Maybe just a harsh word from the boss, deserved or not. And sometimes that harsh word can produce the glooms. Maybe a homemaker overcooks the roast, or the newly baked cake just come out of the oven falls into a sodden mess, and the homemaker slumps into depression. Now she's got to start all over again on her cake. So the glooms can strike suddenly from many different directions and for many reasons. Psychiatrists offer ways of fighting the glooms, but sadly some people turn to tranquilizers or even alcohol. But a simpler and better remedy is just simply to walk outside. Look at the grass and the trees. Sample the sunlight and the blue sky, the days we have them. Breathe in the air. Let life surround you. Listen for the bird song. And as you do those things, a soothing realization that each day is a precious gift from God that can easily overwhelm the glooms. There was a newspaper man named Orville Kelly from Iowa. And he went to the hospital at age 43 for an examination. He was told he had terminal cancer. Well, of course, he was stunned by that devastating news, as was his wife, Wanda. After further hospital tests, the doctors told Orville Kelly that he had 6 months to 3 years to live. Well, as you might imagine, tension began to build in the family. The 4 children hadn't been told what was wrong, but you can bet they felt the tension. Friends avoided discussing the matter with Orville and Wanda, and they just advised them, just don't think about it. And then they quickly changed the subject. Communication almost stopped. Wanda wanted to say something loving, positive, hopeful, and Orville wanted to reassure her, but neither one of them could find the simple, honest words, so they just remained silent. Orville was put on a program of chemotherapy, and the long drive to and from the hospital was a painful, silent journey. And then one day Orville said, "Wanda, we've got to talk. I'm not dead yet. Yes, I've got cancer. And yes, I'll probably die from it. But I'm not dead yet. And we've just got to talk about it." And so they did, honestly, openly, and lovingly. And then Orville said, "Let's go home and have a big barbecue. Invite all our friends, tell the children about it, and start living again. I don't want to waste any more time this way." Excuse me. A short time later, a fresh, new, and exciting idea came to Orville Kelly. And he said, "I'm not going to get up in the morning anymore thinking that this is one day less to live. Rather, I'm going to take on a new attitude. I'm going to thank God every day for the gift of this day." And he decided to form a new club called the MTC, Make Today Count. Orville said, "After all, everyone's terminal. I simply know that my terminus has been more clearly determined. None of us know for sure when we're going to die. We're all terminal, every last one of us. So I'm going to make every day of my life really count for something wonderful. I'm going to see every day as a special and gracious gift from God." And that's precisely what he did. And you ought to hear Orville Kelly's description of the mighty Mississippi River on a misty morning, or his incredible word picture of a bluebird singing on the fence of an Iowa farm, or his play-by-play description of looking down on a city through scattered clouds as his plane rose up into the sunlight, or his tribute to the smile on his wife's beautiful face. Though sentenced to death by a terminal illness, Orville Kelly actually became more alive by making each day count. And isn't this what the psalmist was trying to teach us when he wrote, "This is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it"? These magnificent words from the Psalms are surely an appropriate call to worship, but there's so much more. They're also practical and dynamic words for our daily living. If you and I could say these words at the beginning of each day and really mean them, it could change our lives. This is the day that the Lord has made and given to me as a gracious gift. I will rejoice and be glad in it and be thankful for it. A new bumper sticker came out and it says it pretty well. Today is God's gift to us, and that's why it's called the present. Today is God's gift to us, and that's why it's called the present. It's God's day, and God has given it to us, and we should see it as a special gift and make it count. To waste it or to corrupt it surely is sinful and destructive. So again, I ask you, how are you doing? Are you really making every day count? Or is life just passing you by? As you think about this, here are some ways that we can make every day count. First of all, we can make every day count by saying, today I will be aware. I will be sensitive to what is happening around me, aware of what I'm seeing, hearing, and feeling, sensitive to the wonders and challenges of God's world. Way back in another time, do you remember the Watergate controversy? Well, through it, a new word came into popular usage. And I'll bet you remember that word. The word was Stonewall. And of course, politically, it meant to be unaware, to act like you've heard nothing, seen nothing, and know nothing. So in a sense, that's what many of us do each day. We stonewall. We shut the world out. We are so pushed and pulled by advertisers, different interest groups, political philosophers, religious gurus that scream at us and clamor after us all, trying to win our attention, our loyalty, our support, and let's be honest, most of all, our money. And we're so pushed and pulled by all of that we stonewall the world and shut our senses down. We become like zombies or robots. And many people move relentlessly through life, unfeeling, untouched, uninspired, and totally unaware. There was a magazine with an article that can change our lives. The article had an awareness test. It was very simple. It had 5 simple questions about our 5 basic senses. And the questions asked are these. What were the last 5 sounds you heard? What were the last 5 sights you saw? What were the last 5 surfaces you touched? What were the last 5 fragrances you smelled? What were the last 5 things you touched, you tasted? So how about you? Could you answer those questions right now? Think about them again. What were the last 5 sounds you heard? What were the last 5 sights you saw? What were the last 5 surfaces you touched? What were the last 5 fragrances you smelled? And what were the last 5 things you tasted? So how about you? Could you answer those questions right now? Isn't it something how we stonewall? We become so insensitive, so unaware of what's happening around us, that we shut down our senses and wall out the world. We all know about the physical blindness of Helen Keller. But spiritually, Miss Keller had 20/20 vision. Listen to her words that she wrote. I have walked with people whose eyes are full of light, but see nothing in sea or sky, nothing in city streets, nothing in books. It were far better to sail in the night of blindness with sense and feeling in mind than to be content with the mere act of seeing. The only dark without light is the night in ignorance and insensibility. So a good prayer to start each day might well be, "O Lord, make me aware today. Give me the eyes of faith." Another way to make every day count is to do something good for someone else. I will not live today by the code of selfishness. I will not live today by the law of the jungle. I will strike a blow for love today. Whew. Isn't that the best therapy in the world? It's the key to happiness. Getting outside yourself and thinking about somebody else. Bishop Bob Goodrich once told a story about a man who knelt at an altar and prayed for a friend. Oh, Lord, help my friend. Please help him, Lord, before it's too late. Oh, touch him, Lord, touch him, even if just with your finger. And then it was almost as if he heard the voice of God whispering back in his ear, you touch him. You are my finger. And I say to all of you, we are all God's fingers. One of the ways we as Christians make each day count is by reaching out and touching other people in the Spirit of Christ. Today I will be aware. Today I will do something good for someone else. And I know it's harder with this COVID virus because it's touching our lives in many unhappy ways that bar us from touching other people and from being with other people like we would like to. But in spite of that, we have to continue living our lives so we can make every day count by saying to ourselves, today I will trust God for tomorrow. To paraphrase the songwriter, we do not know what the future holds, but we do know who holds the future. There's an author, Robert M. Holmes, a United Methodist minister up in Montana, who points out that Jesus never had ulcers because he remembered his priorities. And those priorities were important. Jesus remembered his calling to be truthful, not to worry about success. He remembered who was in charge. He remembered to do his best today and to trust God for tomorrow and all the tomorrows of eternity. That's what it's all about, isn't it? That's how to make each day count. Today we can be aware. Today we can do something good for someone else. And today we will trust God for tomorrow. This is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. And now would you please join me in a closing prayer? Dear loving God, our past is truly not our potential. You have great things in store for us and want us to move ahead with our lives. Help us do that and help us minister to others who are held back by past hurts and failures. Thank you for your healing touch and for setting us free from our prisons. Amen. And let us all remember that each day is a special gift from God. This is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. Amen.